We've got a story from National Review. This is kind of an update to a story we've talked about over the years. It says a Texas judge has granted full custody of 8-year-old James Younger to his mother, who has fought publicly to transition her son into a girl against the father's wishes. Judge Mary Brown granted full custody to Ann Georgelis in an order on Tuesday, awarding the mother exclusive control over James' primary residence, counseling, medications, education, and extracurricular activities. It allows Georgelis to withhold information from Jeff Younger, James's father, regarding the children's extracurricular activities, school functions, school enrollment, counseling, and medical care. However, while Georgelis has the exclusive right to consent to James' medical procedures, the order notes that the power does not extend to hormone suppression therapy, puberty blockers, or transgender reassignment surgery. The high-profile custody case has played out publicly for years, as Georgelis has insisted that her son identifies as a girl named Luna. And as I said, we've talked about this. This goes back to when James was only 3 years old. And that's when, according to James Younger, that's when his wife decided that little James is actually a girl. Eventually, they get divorced, and there's been this custody battle ever since then with James Younger, who, what other details about his life? I don't know. I don't know him personally. I'm sure he's not a perfect person. Nobody is. But one thing is for certain, he knows that his boy is a boy. And he believes that his boy has a right to live as a boy and to not have this confusion imposed on him, which will do, it already has done, I hate to say it, it has already done untold, potentially lifelong damage. And only knowing that about James Younger is the child. Only knowing that about the father, Jeff Younger, Jeff Younger versus Ann Georgelis. If the only thing we know is that Ann Georgelis wants to convert the boy into a girl, and Jeff Younger is saying, absolutely not, don't do that, we already know that Jeff Younger is the more fit parent. And it wouldn't be hard to claim that title, because if you want to transition your boy into a girl, you are simply not fit. You can't be. You shouldn't be allowed anywhere near that child. In a just and sane society, there would be no controversy here at all. During the custody battle, you would go to court and the dad would say, she's putting my son in dresses and calling him Luna and trying to tell him he's a girl. And the judge would say, okay, the kid goes to Jeff. End of discussion. Oh, and by the way, you're not allowed within 500 yards of that child. Not only do you not get custody, you can't see him or be near him, you lunatic. This is a form of psychological and sexual abuse. Yes, it is sexual abuse. That is, previous generations would have looked on this and in unspeakable horror, unable to even understand what they're watching. This is definitely something to keep in mind. I hear from, speaking of single people, I hear from single people all the time looking for, a match out there, and it can be difficult in this culture to find that, especially as a conservative or a Christian, to find someone who shares your values. And I hear from young men saying, how do I find a good woman? And women saying that about men. Well, I tell you one thing. Here's one question you should ask very early on, before you even consider marriage or anything. Whether you're a woman, dating a man, or a man dating a woman, one of the first questions you ask early on should be on this topic. Do you think it would ever be possible, there's ever a scenario when a little boy should be raised as a girl? I would pose that question. And if you get anything other than an absolutely hell no, run in the opposite direction. This is one of the most horrifying things to think about. That you get married to someone and you have a kid, and then they do this to your kid. And it would be bad enough in a sane society if that were to happen. But at least then all you have to do is you got to get the divorce, and you'll get custody. because you married a crazy person. But now you know our whole system is against you. They're going to be on the side of your spouse doing this to your child. So there's a question. You know what? I would pose that on the first date. Be one of the first things I would ask. You're going to scare a lot of people away that way? That's all for the better. Because I wouldn't even consider it. This is a risk I would not take. I would want to know that you are firmly against this, and there is no chance that you would ever even consider it. Listen, hit that subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.